What if there was a simple and proven 5-step process that you could apply so that you'd never be a slave to your emotions again? You'd never get lost in overthinking, stress, and worry. You'd never get hit so hard by any of life's challenges that you thought you couldn't recover. And you'd be able to show up every day of your life more present, more patient, more compassionate to yourself and others, and overall just more joyful and excited to be alive. Well, that is exactly what we're here to talk about today. In this video, I'm going to actually lay out the step-by-step process that I use with my clients to get them exactly those kinds of results, even when decades worth of therapy, meditation, medications, CBT, DBT, EMDR, and more failed to get them out of their dark spirals. My name is Benji Scherer. I'm a mental health coach and emotional fitness trainer, teaching high achievers and high-powered professionals, executives, and entrepreneurs the practical emotional mastery skills that they need to keep operating at peak performance, to avoid burnout, and to get the most out of the success and the life that they've created. So, in my last video, I explained the simple subconscious cycle that has been secretly controlling your life. In short, it's the way that your thoughts, emotions, and sensations are all manipulating each other. And I explained how conquering that cycle is the key to overcoming stress, anxiety, fear, worry, doubt, overthinking, and more without needing to analyze past trauma or talk about your emotions in endless therapy sessions week after week. If you haven't watched it, you can find the link to it in the description of this video, or hopefully if I get this right, it should pop up somewhere on your screen right about now. And now, in this video, I want to run through the actual process of how we accomplish this. What are the various steps we need to take to end that cycle once and for all? Now, before I lay this all out for you, just a quick warning that when I run through this whole system in one quick session, it can sound like a lot. It's a lot of information to take in all at once, but I promise you, when you slow down and do it step by step in a reasonable timeline, learning and applying all of this becomes easy. For the sake of this video, I had to make a decision. Do I keep it to the super simple cliff notes and just the chapter headings so that it's really easy to absorb, even though that would just come across as gatekeeping the real information and not giving you real guidance? Or do I explain this process in some real detail so that you can really get a clear idea of what this all looks like? I chose to go with the latter. I'm giving you a pretty comprehensive overview, trusting that you're going to be able to follow along. So try to just relax and take it all in point by point. By the end of it, it should all come together. And if you need more help and guidance, you can always reach out, or you can watch this video again, or keep following my channel so I can break these concepts down in more detail moving forward. With that said, let's jump right into it. First off, remember that the overall goal here is to separate the three elements of this ongoing feedback loop: thoughts, emotions, and sensations. And we want to learn how to handle each of those elements individually. This will allow you to stop getting sucked into unhelpful defense mechanisms as a way to avoid feeling and processing your uncomfortable emotions. Then, once you're out of this fight or flight mode, because you're no longer resisting what you're experiencing inside of yourself, we want to help the body go through the purging process it's been trying to go through this whole time so that you can finally start letting go of all of the excess emotional junk that you've been carrying around. That's it. Simple. Stop resorting to defense mechanisms that get you to put on emotional weight and show the body that it's finally safe to let go of it. Make sense? And the beauty is that as you combine those pieces of the puzzle, the benefits start to multiply exponentially. When you gain strength and reduce the amount of weight you're carrying, all of a sudden it feels like you're floating on air and you can rise above anything. And that's what we're accomplishing here, emotionally speaking, of course. So, with that in mind, the first step is that we need to relax your nervous system. Right now, your body is stuck in a constant state of fear. This is at least partially true for basically everyone in the modern world right now, but in particular, if you're here watching this video, it's because you're stressed or anxious, and so it's particularly true for you. Every moment of every day, your body is sending you a signal that you're in danger. Operating at 50% fear has become your baseline. You've just gotten so used to living in fear that you barely notice it anymore. But no real healing can take place while your body is stuck in that state of distress. That tension prevents you from entering the rest and digest mode that you need to be in to heal, to relax, and to feel at peace. So we need to shut off that alarm. Right now, the internal siren of being in danger is going off every moment of every day. We have to learn to input the code into your alarm system to tell it that you're safe until it learns to stop going off when you're not genuinely in any mortal danger. Now, when it comes to inputting that code, there are 4 key pieces to that alarm code: your breathing, your heart rate, your muscle tension, and your posture. Each of these are physiological processes which are both sending and receiving messages to and from your subconscious that you're in danger. What I mean is that when your nervous system senses danger, it increases your heart rate, for example, as a response to that danger, as a way to try and notify you and to help keep you safe, because the heart pumping will get you acting more, it will, give you more strength, it'll make you run faster or whatever. But the flip side is true also. When your heart rate is up, it convinces you consciously and subconsciously that you're in danger. And so, if you don't recognize this cycle and get a hold of it, then it results in a feedback loop where your stress level just keeps rising and rising because your body is telling your mind that you're in danger, and your mind is telling your body that you're in danger. So, we want to practice reminding your body that you're safe by calming each of these physiological responses, which will, in turn, help your mind feel more safe so that you can calm down even more. Basically, we turn the negative feedback loop, where your body and mind are egging each other on and convincing each other that there's a threat, into a positive feedback loop, where each one keep on reminding each other and you keep on learning to feel more and more safe in your mind and in your body. Now, some people try to deal with this ongoing fight or flight response with tools like breathing exercises, meditation, or grounding techniques. And those are fine tools and good skills to have, but there are 2 main reasons why they don't always fully accomplish the goal that we're going for. Firstly, people tend to practice the methods without learning crucial techniques that are needed to make them really work. For example, when it comes to breathing exercises, people focus on the timing of their breathing. They use something like box breathing, where it's breathe in, pause, breathe out, pause, but they never learn how to breathe properly. So I see them taking these tense, heavy breaths up into their chests while scrunching their faces and tensing and flexing their muscles, and then forcing it out, not realizing that this is actually creating tension in the body and isn't helping their nervous system fully relax. So there are sometimes some missing pieces of the puzzle here. Secondly, when people use these kinds of tools, they usually do it in a reactionary way. They wait until they're triggered and then they apply these skills. As I mentioned, you're already operating at 50% fear every moment of every day. So people get used to that baseline level of fear. Then they wait until moments when something bad happens and that fear shoots up to 80%. And that's when they use the tools to bring themselves back down to 50%. The problem with that is that their nervous system never actually learns to drop below 50%. Yeah, you're handling your triggers a little better, sure, but you're not dropping that baseline level of fear, so you'll never truly get better. It's just a coping mechanism that you'll use in an endless loop without ever seeing any real long-term progress. You live at 50% fear, you get to 80% fear, you apply the tools, you bring yourself back down to 50 over and over and over and over and over. So, rather than practicing these skills just as a response to triggers, I teach my clients to input that code over and over throughout the day and to consistently remind the body that it's safe so that we start lowering our baseline level of stress and your body starts to learn that there truly is no danger. And as you accomplish that, you start becoming less susceptible to being triggered overall because your body isn't constantly looking for a threat the way that it used to. That's step number 1, relaxing the nervous system so that you learn to feel safe. Next up, we need to break the barriers that you've put up between you and your emotions. Over time, we've built up walls and defense mechanisms to keep us safe, both from the uncomfortable emotions inside of us and from the outside world. We think that being strong keeps us safe. Or, more interestingly and ironically, we think that being emotionally strong means stuffing away our emotions. But that's nonsense. I mean, does being physically strong mean avoiding lifting heavy weights? No. Being strong means having the ability to lift heavier and heavier weights. Similarly, being emotionally strong doesn't mean being able to stuff away your emotions. It means having the ability to feel deeper and deeper emotions. Now, as I say that, it might bring up some resistance in you. You might think, whoa, Benji, the whole reason I'm here is because I'm already too emotional, and you want me to feel more emotions? Actually, yeah, I do. Because there is a huge difference between being emotional and feeling your emotions. Being emotional is what happens when you resist your emotions. It's you projecting your emotions out onto the outside world because you're afraid of them and you're running from them. Learning how to feel and process your emotions will make you far less reactive to them, far more confident, and far more stable. Or if you're thinking, okay, even if that's true, Benji, I'm afraid to feel all of that buried pain inside of me. Well, firstly, I'm not just talking about your negative emotions. When I say breaking the barriers to your emotions, we want to start by breaking the barriers to positive emotions. It's fairly intuitive to most people that, okay, we've been avoiding feeling our pain. But most people don't realize that over time, you've also become resistant to feeling joy, love, hope, confidence, and excitement. In order to feel the highest versions of those wonderful emotions, you need to let your guard down and be vulnerable. And right now, you're instinctively avoiding doing that. You don't even realize how closed off you are to positive emotions. And this is part of the big secret here. Everyone is so focused on trying to heal trauma and negative emotions that they're not working on increasing their capacity to experience good emotions. And if you leave out that part of the process, then no matter how much healing you do, you'll never actually feel better because your body will still be afraid of actually feeling good. So we have to literally practice feeling positive emotions so that your body and mind can realize that you're actually safe to experience them again. Only once your body starts getting used to allowing positive emotions to run through you will we start working on processing the pain that you've been resisting. But even then, we don't go searching out pain, trauma, and unpleasant emotions to heal. We just learn how to turn moments of being triggered into moments of healing. This way, we actually suffer less in moments when we otherwise would have freaked out and made things worse. And we actually start to learn that feeling through those triggers can actually feel really good. Seriously, you don't realize how much energy you've been wasting on being afraid of those feelings. There's really no need to run from them. They cannot hurt you. And you can learn how to feel completely safe and completely comfortable letting them run through you without resistance or overthinking. That's step number 2, breaking the barriers to your emotions and learning how to feel again. Next up, we're going to turn our attention to your thoughts. In particular, your worried, self-doubting, overthinking, fearful thoughts. Here's the thing. Even when there is some truth to them, in the sense that what you're thinking about is actually something that you're dealing with, the thoughts in your head are never really accurate reflections of reality. They're just sounds in your head, and they're being manipulated by your emotions. Regardless of what's happening in your life right now, if I shoved a happy drug down your throat, in 10 minutes you'd be thinking completely differently, much more positively and optimistically about what's going on, even though none of the problems in your life had changed. Now, obviously, that's not a solution to anything, but I'm just pointing out that your thoughts are not actually directly tied to your problems. Your thoughts are reflections of the emotional state that you're in. So we want to stop buying into the thoughts so much. Stop believing them. Start recognizing the illusion behind them. And once you fully understand the illusion of your thoughts, and you stop believing them so much, and you learn to create a layer of separation between the version of you that's thinking the thoughts and the version of you that's hearing them, then you can learn how to turn moments of negative thinking into moments of self-love and accomplishment that build your emotional resilience and self-confidence. In short, it comes down to learning how to observe yourself in a moment of overthinking and how to be proud of yourself for catching it happening. The instant that you notice it happening, when you notice you're overthinking, that instantly changes your experience of it, because it shifts your thoughts from fear to, hey, look at that fear. That is a massive shift. It's a completely different experience that immediately happens as soon as you just notice that you're doing it instead of just continuing to do it. And if you can be proud of yourself for catching that happening, instead of judging yourself for allowing it to happen in the first place, you will instantly turn a moment of negative thinking into a moment of self-love, joy, and emotional muscle building, without you actually needing to do anything other than notice that you were overthinking. Now again, I know it might sound like a lot when I'm listing this stuff out so quickly like this, but do you see how easy this all can be? All you need to do to conquer your overthinking is to understand why that overthinking is not an accurate reflection of reality, and be proud of yourself when you catch yourself doing it instead of judging yourself for it. And that is step number 3, conquering your negative thoughts. Next up, we need to deal with our emotional storms. What I mean is that emotions will always go up and down. That's fine. It's just like the weather. I mean, the more you do this inner work, the higher your overall emotional average will be. In a couple of months, you can make it so that the highest emotion that you experience right now will be your baseline, and you'll be able to experience much higher emotions than you're currently capable of feeling. But there will always be ups and downs because that's just part of the human experience. So you need to learn how to surf those waves. Basically, you just need to learn how to recognize the emotion you're in and how to stop attaching meaning to it. Feeling down is not an indication that there is a problem, and we just want to avoid freaking out about it and heading into fear, stress, and worry just because your energy is taking a quick dip. When your emotions and energy are low, that's just your body processing something, and you don't need to worry about it or react to it. Like when you have a stomach ache. You don't freak out and think the world is ending, do you? No, you just lay down and wait for it to pass. You need to learn how to do the same with your emotional storms. Don't overthink it. Don't worry about it. Just acknowledge it, get out of the way, and learn to let it pass, trusting that it will pass and you'll be feeling better soon. All right? That's step number 4. Learn to handle your emotional storms without reacting to them. Last up, we need to learn how to finally process and release emotional energy without getting in the way. Your body has actually been trying to help you heal this whole time, and it's only because of all of these other defense mechanisms that we've been talking about so far that have been getting in the way of that happening that you haven't been able to do it. But now, you're finally ready to turn your moments of emotional distress into moments of purging that will make you stronger and more resilient. The first step here is finding the sensation inside of you that's coming up when you're triggered. Things like the turning feeling in the pit of your stomach, the tightness in your chest, the lump in your throat. all of that inner discomfort. I like to refer to these as energetic sensations. That's because they are sensations, meaning that you feel them in your body, but they're not technically physical. Like, you can't see that turning feeling in your stomach on an MRI or on an X-ray. It's happening. It's real. You feel it, but it's not physically happening in your stomach, so it's more of an energetic sensation. Now, that energetic sensation is your unresolved trauma trying to move through you, and you've been avoiding it, resisting it, and holding on to it because you've been trapped in this cycle that we've been talking about, and because you've been afraid to let go and finally feel it. But now that your body is relaxed, now that your thoughts are out of the way, and now that your emotions don't scare you anymore, you're finally ready to lean into what you're feeling and help your body move that energy through you. Once you can allow yourself to fully experience that energetic sensation without adding fear to it and without analyzing it, all you have to do is help the body transmute that energy and move it through you. And that can be accomplished in plenty of ways, like crying, screaming, shaking, laughing, even dancing, singing, or exercise. So long as your defense mechanisms are out of the way and you're focused directly on the discomfort, almost any form of movement will do. It's just like using exercise to lose weight. We use movement to transform potential energy into kinetic energy and finally let it go. That's step number 5. Find and release the unresolved emotional energy. And that's it. I mean, when I work with clients, there are some extra pieces of the puzzle that I give to them as cherries on top of this emotional healing sundae. Like learning how to rebuild a trusting connection with your subconscious mind, learning how to fully trust and follow your intuition so that you don't need to overthink every tiny decision in your life, and learning how to shift your perspective about your life challenges so that even the biggest hurdles don't ever send you reeling back into victim mentality again. But overall, conquering your emotional struggles comes down to these 5 steps. Number 1, relax your nervous system. Number 2, break the barriers to your emotions and learn to feel safe experiencing them. Number 3, learn to respond positively to your negative thoughts. Number 4, learn to ride the waves of the emotional storms. And number 5, find and release the unresolved emotional energy that's trying to move through you. When you can accomplish those 5 skills and learn to use them naturally in your daily life, you will turn moments of emotional distress into moments of healing without needing to think, without needing to analyze, and without needing to resort to defense mechanisms that just make things worse. Now, like I said, I know that this sounds like a lot when I just blast through it all so quickly, but it's not. It's completely doable, and anyone can do it. Think about it like this. Imagine that I had to explain to you all of the things you needed to do in order to walk. I might say, okay, first you need to bend your ankle and put your weight onto the front of your foot while lifting the ball of your foot off the ground. Then you need to engage your thigh muscle to lift that leg off the ground, and while you do that, you'll need to stiffen your other leg so that you can put all of your weight onto it. Then you're going to move your arm in the same direction that you're walking to help you build momentum, and on and on and on and on and on. Do you see how complicated that all sounds? It's insane. You'd hear me say all of that and think, geez, Benji, that sounds so complicated. Maybe I'm just better off not learning how to walk. But when we're actually doing it, learning how to walk is much more intuitive than it sounds. And once you learn how to walk, you never really need to think about it. It just becomes natural. And that's what this whole process is like too. It sounds complicated when I'm listing out the steps like this in such a short video, blasting through it all in like 20 minutes. But when we just sit down to actually do it, it's not as complicated as it sounds. You can do it. And once you learn how, it will all become second nature, and you'll be able to do it naturally for the rest of your life. A few weeks of putting in the work now will mean a lifetime of emotional freedom in the future. And the other thing that you might notice about this process is that it's practical, in the sense that all we're really learning to do is how to stop suffering. It's not like traditional therapy where we're going searching for problems and trauma to heal. We're just learning how to better respond to the problems that are already happening. Your body is already tense. You're just going to learn how not to notice that. You're going to learn how to notice that and how to relax. You're already resisting your emotions, and we're just learning how to feel safe feeling them again. You're already getting stuck in negative thinking patterns, and you're just learning how to handle them in a healthy and positive way. Every piece of the puzzle here was just about showing you how to take an uncomfortable experience that you're already having and how to stop suffering from it, which is something that you want to do anyway, isn't it? Every piece of the puzzle that we implement immediately makes your life better right then and there in the moment, and that's all the motivation that you need to actually do it. But then, the more that you do it, the stronger that you get, the easier it becomes, and the more that you let go of all of these patterns, habits, and defense mechanisms that have been keeping you stuck. This process is about teaching you how to turn your suffering into healing, how to turn your fear into strength. Every moment that you apply any of the skills and tools that I teach you, that moment instantly gets better. And the more moments that you cumulatively apply those skills, the more that you release, the stronger and more resilient you become, and the more that this all becomes second nature. Does all of that make sense? Hopefully it does, and hopefully this video has provided you a roadmap of how to heal and grow without needing to analyze your pain and problems. If you want help learning how to accomplish all of this within the next 8 to 12 weeks, head to my website, www.benjisharercoaching.com. Over there, you can learn a little more about me and this approach, and you can schedule a call with me to find out if this is right for you. Or if you have any questions, feel free to pop them down in the comments. I'll happily be looking at them and reading them, and I will gladly clarify anything that wasn't 100% clear. On that note, if you appreciated this video, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe so I can get my message out to more people, and let me know what you thought. All right, that's it for this one. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again soon.